Hello and welcome to another Warcraft 3 audio commentary, and I'm back from the holidays. I thought I would be able to actually get games up over the holidays. Turns out I was wrong. That's my own bad, a little bit unfortunate, but you know what? Like I said, I'm back, so can start the daily content once again. The stream, hopefully. The stream of daily content is hopefully what we'll be having. Today we're going to be watching a match from this past ZOTAC on Saturday that I obviously did not cast. This is not the finals. This is, I don't even know what round this is, actually, to be honest. I probably should have checked on that, but it's just a gold crown replay on replays.net, so hopefully it's going to be good, and it's between teammates, DkH.Sub, who is spawning as the blue human. I'm sorry, I was about to say light blue human. No, DkH.Sub spawning as the blue human in the lower left versus his teammate, DkH.Rain, spawning in the upper right as the red undead. So there you have it. Undead versus human should be an interesting match, especially because it's between teammates. That is certainly going to be intriguing. We'll see. And let's go ahead and we do see some ghouls coming out. A Death Knight on its way. Indeed, and now we do have an Archmage coming out for the human player sub, and a Footman as well. So we see some peasants over here just, you know, chopping away at the wood. There we go. Sorry, the chat. It looks like they're both in Skype having a little bit of fun with each other or something. I'm not really sure what they're doing, but yeah. So there are the ghouls coming out. We do have 3 ghouls. This is, of course, a ghoul build. We can tell because there is not a graveyard up, and there is a second ziggurat that does indicate ghouls. It's always going to have ghouls coming out whenever you see that build. It's very much a standard ghoul build. Down here for the human player, of course, is a fairly standard build. I'm going to go ahead and begin to militia creep out. Something is going to go probably right here for this camp, probably. Yes, indeed. Gonna go ahead and creep that out real quick using just the 3 militia. Generally, when you creep your greens, you only need a couple militia, so you take 2 or 3. Of course, a couple is 2, but he's taking 3, so you know that's not too uncommon. Here it looks like we're gonna see this the undead player going ahead and killing a critter, spawning some skeletons, and will he creep out this mercenary camp? He could do that. Yes, he is. Looks like he's going to by pulling the creep camp out with his Death Knight by death calling one of the little creeps. I'm just going to let his ghouls get into position fairly easy. As you can see that, and is going to put a slow on the Death Knight, not one of the ghouls. That's always good because the Death Knight, of course, it doesn't last very long on the Death Knight compared to the ghouls. So we're going to go ahead and see him creeping this out. Not going to have too much trouble. He's taking a fair amount of damage on his Death Knight, though, which is a little uncommon, but unfortunate. He goes ahead and picks up a Ruined Bracer, a nice pick to have, or a nice item. Not that he picked it, but you know, it's just a nice item to have. And really still taking a lot of damage on that Death Knight. Kind of surprising to see him take that much damage. This Archmage now up to level 2. He has gone ahead and crept out the mercenary camp as well. No, he hasn't. Take that back. He's crept out the green as well as this green, it looks like. On his 3rd green then. I'm going to go ahead and see a ghoul running back from this creep camp. He doesn't want to lose it. And it does appear that this mercenary camp has now been crept out pretty much by this undead player, picking up a Tome of Strength and a Tome of Intelligence as well, and a Ruined Bracers. Really a nice all-around good items, good drops for the Death Knight. Working on level 3, we're going to see this Archmage down here halfway through level 3, and about to get one more creep camp in, or one more creep kill in. We're going to see it is teching. He's going to go ahead and throw down a blacksmith. Almost halfway through tier 2, not quite there, maybe 40% of the way, 30% of the way, something like that. For the human player, for the undead player matching his tech at the same time, it looks like they're pretty much identically. Little human a little bit faster on the tech. You can see a graveyard on its way down. Nubian Tower, of course, gotta have that. And the 3rd ziggurat now going up for the undead player. Over here we can see that he is now fairly close to level 3, as you can see, about 75% of the way through. Over here we do see the human player is now creeping out his gold mine, natural expansion. He may be going for the expansion, but it does not look like that. Just bringing in 3 militia once again to creep out it. It's, of course, not a very difficult creep camp. It does have a very low HP Footman right there, 11 HP on that Footman. He's letting this water elemental tank, and that's level 3 for the Archmage. And go ahead and see the undead player now creeping out his green camp right here, and very close to his base. And gonna go ahead and pick up level 3 as well. So now both players do have level 3 on their heroes, as you can see. The Archmage with 2 circlets of nobility and a slippers of agility, plus 3 agility. And the Rain's Death Knight sitting on a gauntlets of ogre strength that is plus 3 strength. Ruined Bracers, which of course reduces magic damage dealt to the hero by 33%, and a Claws of Attack plus 6. He just goes ahead and buys a Rod of Necromancy, so he does have 4 charges right there. Goes ahead and sees the Archmage running towards his base and gives a level 2 coil onto that Archmage to go ahead and do some damage to him. And the Archmage now goes ahead and summons a Water Elemental, so that should be interesting. See what he's going to try to do with that. Looks like the Archmage, or the human player, trying to hide his Archmage up here. Maybe going to try to buy something from the laboratory right there. He could do that. We do see the undead player now running over here to fight this Water Elemental. He is going to maybe scout with the Skeleton Warrior. He's going to run up here and check this is where that Archmage is, and he does indeed find the Archmage. Archmage going to go ahead and summon a second Water Elemental, run both those Water Elementals into the undead space. We do see the undead going straight for tier 3, skipping tier 2 tech. The human player staying at tier 2 for a little bit longer, throwing up an Arcane Sanctum right there and getting some rifles out and a Mountain King second. And we're going to see it looks like the Lich second being picked up by Rain, the undead player here. And of course, you're going to see these ghouls now fighting against these Water Elementals. Go ahead and throw down 2 slaughterhouses. Nicely done. And going for this second Water Elemental. Could he kill it? He could. He's trying to get the kill on it. He does not want it to come in here and try to finish off these ghouls that are low HP. I'm not going to be able to do so, though. It's, of course, slowed by the Rubian Tower right there. Fairly close to killing one, but not going to happen. And the Lich is going to spawn as that dies and get the 57 experience for herself. Very nice. Or himself. People like to remind me that the Lich is a guy, but he looks like a female. It does. It looks like a female, but whatever. You know, whatever. Exactly, is whatever. So we do have the Archmage coming out here with the Mountain King. The Mountain King sitting on 3 Ivory Towers and a Boots of Speed. The Archmage sitting on 2 Circlets of Nobility, Potion of Healing, a Dust of Appearance, and a Town Portal Scroll. And creeping out their own Goblin Laboratory right there. We're going to see Rain over here with a Rod of Necromancy, 2 charges now on 2 charges, down to 2 charges, just use 1 on this Lich, as well as a Claws Attack +6, and the Death Knight with the Gauntlets of Strength +3 Rune Bracers, as well as a Rod of Necromancy with 3 charges, and now a Wand of Mana Stealing. Gonna go ahead and sell the Wand of Mana Stealing. Probably pick up a Potion of Invulnerability. Yes, he does. And we can look across the map and see what item did Subsonic getting on ahead and got a Healthstone. Nice item from this laboratory, and as you can see, he placed down one of those Ivory Towers right here at the laboratory, and that will allow him to use Reveal and give just general vision in case, especially say the undead comes up here to maybe buy some sappers or something. Not exactly a likely thing to have happen, but he might come down there for maybe Zeppelin or a Shredder or something like that. Of course, the human player now can also just buy a Shredder should he want to. And he may end up deciding to do so at some point. We'll see. Having a skeleton scout coming down here through the bottom. Going to come in here and scout the human base a little bit. We're still going to see the human player is on tier 2. Only has 1 Arcane Sanctum still, and is now getting Sorceress Adept training. And we do have 2 footmen or 2 priests out. I don't see any sorceresses, so it's a little bit odd to get the sorceress training when you don't have any sorceresses out. But that does indicate that we're going to see some. We do see 5 militia now being called to form. Going to come over here. Human player going to go ahead and creep out this mercenary camp. He does have a Scroll of Healing, Potion of Greater Mana, Boots of Speed, 2 Ivory Towers, and a Healthstone now on that Mountain King and on the Archmage again. Of course, still just 2 Circlets of Nobility, a Potion of Healing, Dust of Appearance, and the Town Portal. We are going to see tier 3 now for the undead player. Going ahead and researching Destroyer Form, as well as making an Abomination and getting a Crippler out as his 3rd hero. Going to go ahead and now also be researching Ghoul Frenzy. He only has 3 ghouls left in his base. Going to go ahead and have 3 in his army. Is that all? Forces are under attack. 4 in his base. I was like, I feel like 1's missing, but there it is. Yeah, it does have 4 ghouls in his base collecting wood. On that Death Knight, we're going to see 2 charges of Rod of Necromancy, Gauntlets of Ogre Strength, the Wand of the Wind with 3 charges, Rune Bracers, a Town Portal, and a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. And we did see that getting coiled for the experience. And the Lich does have 1 charge of Rod of Necromancy, an Orb of Corruption, and 2 Claws of Attack +6 each having +6, of course. Indeed. Seeing that human army getting dangerously close there to the undead army. Of course, the undead did back off. We're going to see a skeleton scout coming down here to scout out this expansion attempt from Subsonic, as he does have 2 of those towers being placed by Ivory Tower, both being upgraded to Arcane Towers, and a 3rd tower being built there by one of the peasants. And we do have, of course, the remaining 4 peasants now building that town hall very quickly. We'll see. It looks like this sorceress now is out. Maybe only 1 currently in the army, perhaps. It does look that way. Trying to see if we can find any more. Yes, indeed, I see only 1 in the army. Of course, that is Adept, so it does have a little bit more mana regeneration. Of course, it also has Brilliant Aura, level 1. From this Archmage, it's level 3. So it also has that mana regeneration. Level 3 now is on that Mountain King. Still only level 2 on the Lich. About 75% of the way through. Level 3 on the Death Knight, about 80% of the way through, really. Very close to level 4, and of course that Crippler doesn't really have anything, really. We do have a Destroyer sitting nicely over these trees. It gives him a little bit of vision. If we look, we can see. As you can see, that Destroyer giving a nice roundabout of vision, which is essentially a really nice scout, and essentially lets the undead know what's happening. But we do actually see an invisible Mountain King, and that's what the Sorcerer's Adept training was for, to have that invisibility. You're going to get a bolt on that Lich, going to get Coil as well. Was slowed and got destroyed, ate the slow. Going to go ahead and see another slow being cast on the Lich. Going to see that Wand of Wind cycling that Mountain King into the air. A nice attempt to kill the Lich, but not actually going to go ahead and happen. We do see now 2 Abominations are out. They do have their Disease Cloud. And we do have now, it looks like 4 Frenzy Ghouls in this army. Nope, 5 Frenzy Ghouls in this army. We're going to go ahead and see the Destroyer just again scouting a bit. We're going to see an Invisible Footman now this time running in here to scout out the Undead army to see what's going to happen. And the Crypt Lord is now running over here to this Goblin Merchant. Going to go ahead and pick up a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. Invisible on the Mountain King. Human army running in here with that Mountain King invisible. Going to be right in the middle. Going to be able to get a Thunderclap off should you want to. I'm going to go ahead and bolt the Ghoul right there. Going to Thunderclap, hit just those 3 units right there. 2 Ghouls and the Death Knight in that. Going to see one of these Acolytes now running down here. Doing lots of damage to this Mountain King. Mountain King goes ahead and uses some potions. He's back to full, but he's now back to about half again. Could go ahead and lose this Mountain King if he's not careful. There's no way to get him out. He needs to go ahead and maybe could go ahead and invisible, but there's a Destroyer right there. The Destroyer is going to eat the invisibility, get stunned on the Mountain King, and go ahead and coil Nova the Mountain King. The Mountain King does go down. Nicely done by the undead player. Nicely done by the human player to try to keep it alive. Not going to happen. And we're going to see these water elementals going down as the Archmage TP's out. Only one of those water elementals will go down. We do have 4 Abominations now out on the field. 1 statue. And the Acolyte came down here, managed to scout that out, that position. The gold mine, the red gold mine, it has not been crept out. You can see another Abomination on its way being made. 48 out of 70 food for the undead player. As you can see, going to have a Destroyer, of course, turn that statue into a Destroyer. And going to go ahead and take out this expansion probably pretty easy with this many Abominations. Shouldn't be too bad. He's trying to kill these Arcane Towers. Of course, these Arcane Towers have drained the Death Knight of all of its mana. And the Crypt Lord, very low on mana, is well down to 40 mana. The Lich down to 240 mana. So, you see the human army now coming in here from the top
under attack
to do some damage. Did go ahead and Tavern revive that Mountain King. And we'll see what happens here. Not really going to be the greatest position for this undead player. As you can see, all the units that you really want to be attacking with your Abomination kind of in the back. We go ahead and lose this Destroyer now to a little bit of focus fire from those rifles and that human player, the human Archmage. This could be bad. That Death Knight, this Undead is probably going to have to TP here shortly. As you can see, he's really not going to be able to do a lot more damage here. He's going to go ahead and take off 2 more rifles with a Nova. Going to go ahead and now TP out. Will he lose that Lich? He's going to go ahead and lose the Lich before as he TPs out. Unfortunate for the Undead player. Nicely done by the human player Subsonic. And yeah. So it's unfortunate to try to fight against slow when you do not have Dispel. And without the Dispel, all of those Abominations, of course, their damage is greatly reduced. As you can see, their attack speed is reduced. I'm not quite sure by the exact amount, but it's a fairly large amount. As you can see, they're down to slow speed on their attack speed. Not really too good for them. Gonna go ahead and eat that, slow off 2 of those Abominations with that Destroyer. Can, of course, still eat plenty more slows.
A player's forces
and are going to see
a
Tavern Revive. Yes, their Lich has been Tavern Revived. You go ahead and see a Bolt now on that Mountain King, and the Crypt Lord coming in here with a nice Impale on the Mountain King. Not really the greatest of all Impales, but it was long range. Potion of Invulnerability being used on this Death Knight now. Trying to take out this Mountain King before this Death Knight goes out of Invulnerability. Not going to happen, but that Invulnerability is going to wear off, and he's going to have 60 HP left on that Mountain King. On the Death Knight. Mountain King's still sitting about half HP. Just have boost of speed, uses the potion of healing, brings him up to a little over half again. These Abominations are in a fairly good spot here, but they're all slowed once again, and that's a problem. We're going to go ahead and see a magic being used by this Destroyer. Kind of odd to let that Sorceress live right there with only 2 HP. We'll probably see it die. Nope. And the TP out. I didn't see the TP. That was odd. I saw it as it kind of happened, but a bit odd. It wasn't really on my screen. At least I don't think it was. I'm not sure. Might have been tunnel visioning on the wrong stuff there. But down here at this expansion, we do see for the human player finally getting an upgrade on this tower once again. If the undead player beelined it right here, he could do a lot of damage, but it does not look like he's going to. Go ahead and see the human player now healing up. His Mountain King may very well be trapped right now. It looks like he is trapped inside the base. They're going to have to cut him out right here at this tree. The undead player is creeping at this red camp. I just have 3 abominations in his base for whatever reason. Is he sending all of his abominations back? I'm trying to find them. Odd, I guess he doesn't want to be using his abominations right now, maybe? Maybe he doesn't have enough and he needs a certain number of them before they're useful. He certainly knows they're there, he just moved them.
Under attack.
We're going to see the human player coming in. Of course, it's not a bad idea. Your heroes are, of course, much more mobile than the abominations. Are very big and heavy, clunky units to be moving around the map with. So, especially when they're slowed, that's a problem. But they're not currently slowed, they're just sitting in the base. Maybe he needs more. That's my assumption. Maybe more abominations or more destroyers, one of the two. I'm not quite sure. You can go ahead and scout with this destroyer, coming down to the bottom side of the map. You'll be able to scout this out. As you can see, there's a lot of low HP peasants down here. They're very easy to kill. He could pick them off with this destroyer if he runs over. We do see there are 2 more towers now being created. One on its way to Arcane Tower right now. Trying to finish off this tower would be nice as well, if he could kill it with this destroyer. But instead, it's just going to force the peasants to start repairing. You're going to see this undead player do a little bit of a skirmish here, but not going to try to engage the human army just because the human army currently, if we take a little count, you can see is at 65 out of 72 food, while the undead army is at 48 out of 70 food.
A player's forces are under attack.
That means the undead player will be much more better served by trying to take out and do some harass down here. Kill all of these peasants, that would be perfect. You go ahead and see that human player now beginning to TP in, going to force the undead player to run away. Good move to not try to fight this. As you can see, it's definitely a superior force right now. You see that Archmage very close, about 95% of the way through level 4, about to level 5. Level 4 on the Mountain King. If we take a quick look at the items, you can see on the Mountain King, Boots of Speed, Gloves of Haste, Potion of Mana, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability, Potion of Healing, and Scroll of Healing. And then on that Archmage, 2 Circlets of Nobility, Belt of Giant Strength, plus 6 Strength, and Scroll of Healing. On the Crypt Lord, we can see is about halfway through level 2, a little over it. He has Cloak of Flames, Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. On that Death Knight, we're going to see Scroll of Town Portal, Ruined Bracers, Gauntlets of Ogre Strength plus 3, and Potion of Lesser Invulnerability. We're going to see a Dust being passed over here to the Crypt Lord. You go ahead and get a nice reveal off on that Mountain King, and immediately impale it. Will he be able to keep his Crypt Lord alive now? That could be the question. Because as you can see, the human player is running past this undead's army, not trying to fight anything. You go ahead and see an impale getting off on that Mountain King before we go ahead and bolt the Crypt Lord right there, and he's going to go ahead and use a Potion of Lesser Invulnerability on the Crypt Lord to get him away from that fight. Does not want to engage right there. Again, he only has 3 abominations. Has a couple of statues, 3 statues actually, sitting in his base, idle. You go ahead and see one of those getting morphed. Yes. Indeed, we did. I don't know where it is. There it is.
A player's forces are
right there. So that's 2 destroyers now in the undead's army. He's banking right now at 50 food. As you can see, he's got quite a bit of gold, 1,500 gold, 1,500 gold to be precise. And the human player is sitting at 70 out of 78 food, getting another Spellbreaker. As you can see, he's still doing all of this off of 1 Arcane Sanctum, so not bad. And the lumber mill now going up. Could use the wood. Gonna go ahead and begin that castle tech. Anything else interesting happening? I would say probably not really. If we look over here to the undead player, we might see he might be getting ready to break up keep. As you can see, he's got that 3rd ziggurat going down right there. It's about to finish. At that point, he may very well decide it's time to break up keep. Coming down here to once again try to engage and harass this human player's base, or expansion. I'm going to move into the human player's base, try to get away from the human player army as it encroaches into this. Going to go ahead and teleport out, get a nice Nova off, killing a lot of these peasants. Will he kill that 1 more peasant? 1 more peasant going down to 2 peasants now at this expansion for the human player, beginning to rebuild peasants right there. As you can see, just trying to get it back up to 5. See a statue over here from Rain. Subsonic going to be able to find it. The question is, will he be able to do any damage to it? Of course, he could. It would be very unlikely for him to be able to kill it. It is immune to most magics. Not immune to slow, but if it is slowed, then it could just go ahead and morph to destroyer form. Over here on the opposite side of the map, we do see, of course, the human player is running right by on the undead's base, and the undead player is over here picking out this red camp. And he, as long as this human player waits, he will have time to finish off at least the Overlord and grab that item. That would be a nice boost for him. Trying to hit level 3 on the script lord. You go ahead and pick up a Helm of Valor. That does give him a +4 strength and +4 agility. Getting level 3 now on the script lord. Let's see. Level 4 on the Lich, and fairly close to level 5 on this Death Knight. I don't think he'll be able to get it from this, though. Probably not. I'm going to go ahead and lose one of his slaughterhouses now. As you can see, he's at 63 out of 80 food. That shop now beginning to take some damage. The undead player will go ahead and begin to teleport in. Needs to keep his base alive. If we take a quick look, see Rain at 63 out of 80 food, and the Subsonic at 71 out of 78 food. And you can see that Rain is sitting pretty good in terms of resources here. Somebody just loaded up a Zeppelin. Who was that? I feel like I heard that sound. It sounded like it. Ah, yes, there it is. Rain with the Zeppelin right here. It'll be really helpful to have a Zeppelin to help maneuver around your abominations. We do have an invisible water elemental sitting right there, and we're going to see a Skeleton Scout on Rain's army as it runs away. If we take a quick look at the upgrades, on the Priest we can see it's still Initiate. Sorceresses are still Adept, and the Riflemen are at 2-1 upgrades, and the Spellbreakers are at no upgrades. Over here for the Undead player, we can see he's at 0 out of 0 for the Abominations and 0 out of 0 for the Destroyers. So, not really worrying about upgrades, it seems. At least the Undead player isn't. The Human player, of course, does have nice upgrades on those rifles. And down here we can see that the expansion down here getting up to a 3rd Arcane Tower being built. At his main base, we can see some Griffin Aviaries, actually 2 Griffin Aviaries being built. He has ran out of gold on that gold mine. Can go ahead and begin to pump Griffin Riders. That'll be good for him. The Undead player also out of gold now. Gonna go ahead and try to get an expansion up right here. That would be helpful. Does need to have a source of income for sure. Is he going for a... not making a smart move right here. As you can see, moving that one Acolyte away from this expansion down here. You don't want to lose all of your Acolytes if this goes sour. So at least keep one. That's at least so you can eventually unsummon some buildings if you need to. Now, the Goblin Zeppelin is chilling out in the Undead's base. I'm surprised that he does not have that in this army down here. It's definitely very helpful to have. Gonna go ahead and see maybe the Human player, the Undead player, trying to engage right here. Gonna have a little bit of focus fire off on that Death Knight. Not gonna really do too much. As you can see, he's already about almost. You can see he's getting healed quite a bit. A wonderful impale, just impaling probably 80% of the human, probably 60% of the human army right there. But a really nice impale. You can see one of those Abominations going down now. You see those Griffin Archers taking a little bit of damage. You can see this Mountain King maybe going to get focus fire, perhaps. He's taking some damage, but not really a huge amount. This is a really nice position for the Human player, but at the same time, he's getting in really good impales off. As you can see, another really nice impale. And the Crypt Lord taking a lot of damage. Will he go ahead and use a potion of invulnerability? Yes, indeed. That Mountain King is right there, invisible. Of course, this is not good for the Undead player. As you can see, that he's not really able to maximize the efficiency of his Undead units, or the big melee units, the Abominations. They get enough focus fire on that Mountain King, going to force him to TP out. And TP out he does indeed with that whole human army right there. And let's just take a quick look. 57 out of 80 food for the Undead player, 68 out of 90 for the Human player. We see the Undead player now attacking this expansion. Could very quickly take out these towers. Gonna force the Human player to immediately come over here. As you can see, he has begun to heal with a Scroll of Regeneration. Bringing the Militia. Will we see a lot of these? We might not see a fight happen. We might just see a bunch of these peasants going down and then the Undead player backing off a little bit. We'll have to wait and see. Gonna go ahead and see one of those Abominations taking some damage. Gonna get coiled as well. Another decently good impale. Not as good as the early ones, but you know, position's not as good for that. You're gonna see some Frost Armor as well as another coil going off onto that Abomination, trying to keep that Abomination alive. Gonna micro it back a little bit there. We do see the Death Knight now taking some damage as well. Will he lose that Death Knight? He could lose the Death Knight. Gonna go ahead and get another coil toss as he town portals out of this fight. Whoops. And we're gonna go ahead and see a rifle going down. So a lot of the Undead units are staying alive while a lot of those human units are dead. We can see still at 58 out of whatever food, 58 food for the Undead and 60 food for the Human player. So as you can see, that fight definitely went very well for the Undead player. You can see that he has now got this expansion up, so he is making some money. I'm gonna go ahead and get building a sixth Acolyte really, and gonna run that down here to this base. We will see the Mountain King will scout this expansion. It looks like he's going to able to do a fair amount of damage, and the Undead player now at this base. Will he go ahead and buy something? No, just went ahead and used a Rod of Necromancy charge right there. You're gonna see the Mountain King gonna be able to take out a lot of this probably could even force this to go down with the entire might of the human army right here. Could very possibly. You might just see this being unsummoned. We'll have to wait and see. Gonna see the unsummoned. The undead player coming over here to try to finish off this expansion if he can. Let's see how many peasants are there still alive. There's still 3 peasants over here at the main base. Gonna see all of them but one. Oh, is that gonna go down as well? Not gonna go down. We're gonna see a bolt on the Lich at almost level 5. Level 5, of course, on the Death Knight. Level 3 on the Cripplord, very close to level 4. Let's see. The undead player not wanting to fight the human directly, which is nice. That could be a problem. Gonna see another bolt on that Lich and a coil on that Lich once again, and another decent impale just hit the Mountain King. Of course, the other units there were Spellbreakers, which are immune. Gonna see these destroyers right here. I'm not sure what they're trying to do. Running around, go ahead and get some dispel, pick up some magic from this water elemental. Go ahead and pick this off, perhaps. Not sure if that actually gave the experience to the undead player or not, because he was about to expire for time. Probably run those destroyers down here to this expansion would be a good idea, but we'll see. Again, just doing a little bit of damage here, not really a lot. Of course, just keeping the undead in the game, just microing those things around. Let's see, it looks like the undead now not going to be able to secure an expansion again, not in this game, but we'll see. Maybe. He does have a Goblin Zeppelin with the Acolyte right there at this expansion. He might be trying to go ahead and put that down. It's going to be really hard to get one up. Do you have an Acolyte over here scouting? This has not been crept out this orange camp, so we might see a human player coming over here to do so. It looks like he's going to.
Under attack.
Level 5 on that Archmage, but still level 4 on the Mountain King. Maybe about 80% of the way through level 4 on the Mountain King, so he could very easily get level 5 right here. As he goes into that creep camp, however, we do see the undead player now coming down here to this expansion with just his heroes and probably the destroyers. Not sure where the destroyers are. Oh, they're over here. It looks like they killed a peasant, which is nice. Doesn't look like the human player has any more peasants. So yeah. Nicely done by the undead player so far in this game. Could use this destroyer down here as well just to do some damage. At this point, all he needs to do is keep the human player from mining and eventually just, try to pick units off from this army as it runs around, and he could potentially win. Go ahead and see this creep camp also being crept out now by the undead player. Does he have a TP? He does have a TP on that Death Knight. Go ahead and see these ghouls. There's a decent sized army here, so if the human player decides to try to attack this base, it's not going to really have a good amount of time doing so, because it's going to be difficult. The undead army is certainly nice enough to defend this, at least in the undead base, perhaps not in an open fight. The undead player now running over here. Is he going to try for a TP? It looks like he's gathering together to TP in. Yeah, he's going to go ahead and TP, it looks like. I would assume, yeah. Gonna go ahead and TP. Gonna lose an Abomination. I'm not sure why he brought that out before he TP. That was odd. He's gonna also lose a statue for that. That's kind of bad play. Losing 2 statues and Abomination before the fight begins. Unfortunately for the undead player, that might cost him the game. We'll see. I'm gonna go ahead and really do a lot of damage to that Mountain King. As you can see, being invisible, very low on HP. Will he be able to kill that? He could. The Death Knight not taking a ton of damage. Was it in shot range? It was, but now it's not. Taking a lot of damage here, as you can see. Human player not wanting to chase all the way into this base. Try to kill that Death Knight. The Death Knight gonna go ahead and get to that shot range, pick up a potion of healing. He needs to kill the heroes. He's really outnumbered here in terms of units. So if you can kill those heroes, he could even the battle. Even it, Truly, he would, though. He'd be able to even the battle doing that, and in doing so, he could probably win the game. Because those heroes are what really threatens him. Particularly that Mountain King. That Mountain King coming back out could lose that Mountain King for doing that, because he's very low on HP. Gonna get invisible once again. Gonna force the undead player back into his base. The undead player really just threw all of his units right there away from that in that fight that he lost. I'm not really sure why he did that. Just a bit of a miscalculation, I suppose. However, as this human player does run away, he's going to be able to do a lot of damage, pick a lot of these units off. Going to go ahead and get 3 units dead with that 1 impale. Could kill this Sorceress as well. How many Sorceresses are still alive? It looks like there might be no more Sorceresses alive. Could kill the Mountain King right here, very possible. 1 Death Coil on it, will he be able to kill it? Oh, it's very low on HP. 1 Lich is going to attack it, and down it goes. We'll lose the Cripplord as well, but that is a trade worth making, because the Archmage is not nearly as big of a threat as the Death Knight and the Lich right there. So the undead player now is certainly at the advantage in this game. As you can see, if we look at the resource count, there's no way the human can buy that Mountain King back from the tavern. while the undead player certainly will be able to unsummon and revive the Crippler from the altar fairly quickly. Coming down here, not going to let this human player get any mining off. That's really good. Does not want to let him revive that Mountain King. With just this unit, this little army composition here, this army composition is very weak versus the hit and run style that the undead can now employ very easily in this game. Go ahead and see that one destroyer being left on at the expansion. Just going to do his best to keep units from being built. Mainly peasants, of course. There are some priests down here. Now, we're going to see, of course, that water elemental is going to go down. The human player really out of resources at this point, trying to invest all of his resources in these peasants right here. While the undead player should actually be able to get an expansion up fairly soon, if he decides to. Could build one over here. Probably pretty safe, in all honesty. We'll see. It looks like he's going to go ahead and try to unsummon some Ziggurats and do maybe just that. It would be a good choice, I think. We'll go ahead and kill Subsonic's Altar of Kings. Because that's really his only real chance of getting that Mountain King back, really, is to go through the altar revive. Taverning is just too expensive at this point. It would cost him around 700 gold, and he's just not going to be able to have that much in this game. Not the way it's going. Go ahead and get a Nova and focusing on this Griffin Rider. He'd like to kill it if he could. It's going to be a little bit difficult. Going to back off once again. This time probably going to make a beeline over here for this expansion. He needs to keep those units down. With a water elemental here, he could easily do so with these destroyers. We'll see. If he eats this destroyer with this water, if he eats with the destroyer this water elemental, he will get a little bit of life back. Looks like he's just gonna not worry about that. But he does have some mana now. Nope, I guess he used it all. Attacking the destroyer. Going for the coil now on that Archmage, trying to do some damage. He doesn't want to lose any units. Neither side does. And honestly, the Subsonic might be able to get a bunch of gold now. He's defending this expansion fairly well. We just see an Acolyte coming over here to get the expansion up for the undead player. Crippler is now out. That's going to pose some issues for the undead player, for the human player, because that does have a stun. And the player with the stun in these hit and run types of games always does better. You see these Griffin right here, so I'm not going to do anything to these destroyers. Undead player now just scouting about. I think he wanted to creep this because it was not crept earlier, but I'm not sure. Maybe he was just looking to see if there are any items left behind. Also possible. Where is the humans army? Right here. Over here building an Altar of Kings at his expansion. He the undead player really needs to go stop that. Because if he can get up to about 780 gold or so, I'm not quite sure, then he will be able to actually revive the Mountain King at the tavern, and that would be a big issue. There are some sentry wards right here. Well, that's a shame because there are some sentry wards right there. Sentry wards would be viable, very valuable in this fight. You guys see an impale off on that Archmage as well as a coil, and Nova will be able to kill the Archmage. The Archmage is going to go down. Oh, this is a problem for the human player, certainly. Without that Archmage, he is going to... This is not good. Not looking good for the human player now without any heroes. Against 3 heroes. They're all high level. Level 5 being picked up on that Crypt Lord. About to level 6 on the Lich right there. The Mountain King being taverned. The Mountain King, of course, a good choice. But the problem is he doesn't have a lot of mana right now. He doesn't have much at all. And the undead player now, let's see, level 5 on that Mountain King, or I'm sorry, level 5 on the Death Knight. Very, very close, as you can see. 10 experience away from level 6. 10 experience away from level 6 on the Lich as well. And level 5 on that Crypt Lord. So this is going to be a problem. We do see, for the human player, we do see now that these Griffin Riders are over here to do some damage to this Rain's expansion. The human player, the undead player, are going to try to make his way over here as fast as possible. Going to have a hard time killing this in time. Now that the undead players are so close, but... we'll see exactly what happens here. The destroyers alone won't keep these griffins away. It's the tree hero that he needs to be concerned about. Let's see. We do see now there is a clarity being used on that Mountain King, and the Mountain King has a mana potion as well. Going to see a Nova now onto that Mountain King and an Impale, getting a nice line, killing a priest, damaging another priest, and getting that Mountain King as well. The Griffin Rider's up here. He's going to lose one. He could. Not going to happen. The real goal is the Mountain King, of course. Mountain King, of course, could die right here if there's well played by the undead player. We do see level 6, of course, on both the Lich and the Death Knight now at this point. Getting an Impale off. He doesn't quite have enough mana for the Impale, actually. They go for these Riflemen instead. Just kill the Riflemen. Would be a good choice. Goes ahead and Novas them. Both those rifles will go down. Griffin Riders over here. Be able to kill this expansion. definitely going to go down. I think the undead player really
Player's
should be
forces
attacking
are
this down
under
here. I'm
attack.
not sure why on Earth he's not. We do see the human player now getting that Archmage back out, just also reviving that. And of course, as long as the undead player doesn't have economy, this is really... I don't know why he's fighting down here, or why he's trying to defend this expansion, because he definitely has the superior army right now. If he just uses it, then he'll be able to win this game, certainly. Do you see some Dragon Hawk Riders on the way out? We do see 2 of those out sitting right now. No units in queue for production on either side. See an Acolyte now running over here. I really don't know. I think the Undead's making a mistake right here. It's almost like... I just don't know why you would try to defend this. I mean, he comes over here. I guess just because of that reason. I guess maybe I'm wrong. I mean, the gold mine is now out for the human player, but it's been so very expensive to try to keep this this expansion alive right here for the undead player. And I feel like he could have just won the game with attacking outright and just killing all those units. You see this Archmage is back alive at this point. So whoever wins this fight though really is going to win the game. So I mean, we'll see. See this militia now running up there to the Undead's expansion, no doubt. You see a Coil Nova and Impel on that Archmage. Very low on that Archmage. Will he be able to kill it? Down goes the Archmage. Nicely done by the Undead player. He may very well win this game. Going to be able to kill this, no problem. The Spellbreaker that's being focused now. Trying to keep the Death Knight away from this Mountain King. Does not want to get bolted down. And we're going to go ahead and see the Mountain King now taking some damage. Mountain King could go down right here. Let's see, will he get down? Could go ahead and get coiled and killed. There he goes. Down he goes. The Undead player definitely just won the game. So nicely done by the Undead player. Really nicely done. Nice move. Still confusing to me that he was trying to defend the expansion. I mean, I think I understand his reasoning now that I saw that the gold mine was about to go out, but still odd because I feel like a little bit more aggressive play and he could have just won the game flat out. But either way, obviously he made some good choices because he did indeed win the game. So congratulations to Rain, and nice game, honestly. I thought it was a good watch. Hopefully you guys did too. That was from ZOTAC, this past weekend's ZOTAC, and I don't really have a lot of time right now to go ahead and catch up on all those ZOTAC games, so it's probably been my only game from that. But yeah, so I am back though. Sorry for the past 5 days. It's just been holidays and busy, so that's why I haven't posted any videos. But like I said, should be resuming normal scheduling now, and I'm a little bit hoarse right now, so did a little bit of shouting yesterday, so probably not the best idea, but hopefully it'll be better tomorrow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow then.